you a timer on that. Just wanted to let a couple of people log in and give you the information off the top. So we do have the potential for more severe weather as we go through the afternoon. This could just be the beginning of what could be a fairly stormy afternoon underway. So we will be keeping you posted as these warnings come on throughout the day. Either way, right now, this is what we're focusing on. We are focusing on this one severe thunderstorm warning that is currently about to push into parts of Jasper County. We might just get the worst of it past to go over Monroe County. Either way, we're going to take a look at a couple of things right now, as they did say that there was a tornado possible in this, and it does look like that couplet could potentially be getting a little bit tighter. So we are going to just go ahead and say, if you are in the High Falls area, you are going to want to head into an interior room away from doors and windows just in case. Also, this storm has the potential of producing 3/4 of an inch in diameter hail. So that's also very dangerous, something just to keep in mind. Now, if you are in Jackson, I know that is just out of our viewing area, also another place that you want to be giving a heads up for, because that is heading your way. Now, I am going to put a timer on this really quick, also going to log on so that I can take any questions just in case y'all have any. You might hear me for just a second while I turn my volume down. There we go. Just give me 1 second there. If it will turn down. There we go. Oh, okay. There we go. Pause. Okay, the computer is locked on the other one for me to take comments, but that's okay. So I'll flip back and forth on my computer. All right, let's put a timer on this. That's first things first. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to go to the velocity, where we're kind of seeing some of that rotation in here potentially. And we're going to go off to the east at 35 miles per hour. Sorry about the comments. I will get to them in a second, I promise, guys. So if you're in Flovilla, 127. If you're in Berner, that's 133. So if you live in any of those towns, you are going to want to be heading into an interior room. Again, we don't have any kind of confirmed tornado. As of right now, what we're primarily looking at, what indicated the severe thunderstorm warning, was that 60-mile-per-hour wind. But either way, damaging wind gusts still very, very dangerous, and something that you should take very seriously. So we are going to be saying, if you are in Flovilla or Berner, those are both areas in Jasper County, just be sure that you are in that interior room away from doors and windows in the meantime. I will zoom in a little bit and give you a look at what is going on across central Georgia once I erase this here really quick. Again, this severe thunderstorm warning, for those of you just tuning in, it is for parts of Monroe County. If you are in the High Falls area, just be sure that you are also heeding this warning. It does look like some very gusty wind is starting to move through your area in excess of 50, 60 miles per hour. This goes until 145. Again, moving off to the east at 35 miles per hour. So it goes for Butts, Jasper, Lamar, and Spalding. Lamar and Spalding just outside of our viewing area. Either way, though, still close enough. So you are going to want to be heeding this warning. Goes until 145. Now, the National Weather Service did say tornado possible with this system. So there is the potential for that tornado. There's no tornado warning in effect right now. What we know is happening is very gusty wind, upwards of 60 miles per hour, along with that potential for 3/4 of an inch diameter hail. I am going to finally make my way into the comments. Just give me 1 second here. Our secondary computer is locked, so I'm going to head on into this. Here we go. Okay. Awesome. Now I can see your comments. Sorry about that, y'all. Clayton County, Houston County, Bibb County. Y'all are good. Again, this only goes for Monroe County. And yeah, sorry, guys. I'm just now getting to the comments. That was my bad. All right, cool. All right, so if you have any questions, go ahead and ask away. But if you are watching from anywhere other than Bibb County, or excuse me, other than Monroe County or Jasper County, I just read Bibb County, then you're pretty much in the clear. We do have a few pop-up thunderstorms that are starting to form across the area in places like Bibb and Crawford, parts of Upson, but the severe thunderstorm warning is for northern Monroe and also parts of western Jasper County. Lawrence County, Dodge County line. You're good. You're good. High Falls, lightning. Yeah, be very careful if you're in High Falls. Is it coming here? We'll go through a couple of the models in a second. I'm going to do another timer really quick now that I'm able to see some of your comments and get a couple of things. High Falls, lightning and thunder, very loud. Be very careful, Rachel. Milledgeville, you're okay right now. You'll have the potential for a couple of severe storms later. You have the potential for it. Let's see. Very humid and hot in Lawrence. Yeah, so we do have a lot of thunderstorm energy out there right now. So any storms that kind of fire up, they'll have that potential for to become strong or severe. Okay, so we're kind of in between, although both are showing a little bit of something to work with. Sorry, I'm kind of just scanning over really quick. So this rotation in this storm is looking a little bit stronger now. So again, if you're in high falls, best to just stay away from doors and windows in the meantime until this storm passes over you. It is looking a little bit broader, but we're still going to put a timer on this just for those of you who are tuning in. It doesn't look like there's too many towns popping up here, but Gladesville, I will butcher the third row, but Cork 129, Gladesville at 137. I'm about 5 and it's so still, there's no movement, lots of thunder. You can hear a thunderstorm and even see lightning in a thunderstorm from very, very far away. I'm in Jasper, am I safe? What part of Jasper? This cluster of storms is heading your way in Jasper County. So what I'm gonna do is kind of back this up and then we're gonna roll it forward really slow. So you can see it's moving right off towards the east. So if you're in Monticello, more than likely soon you are going to experience very gusty wind and very heavy rain. What about the Jones County, Putnam County line? Jones County, you're okay right now. I'll show you a wider view in just a second. Will we get any rain in Cochrane? Potentially. Let's see. Wilkinson County, you're in the clear right now. So we'll kind of back this up because I think a lot of people are obviously watching. We have a few people out in High Falls. Again, if you are in High Falls, be sure that you are inside. You don't need to be heading outside, preferably away from doors and windows. We don't have any kind of confirmed tornado, but the National Weather Service did say that tornado is possible within this cluster of storms, and we have been seeing some rotation within this storm. So to be better safe than sorry, if you are in northern Monroe County, western Jasper County, you are going to want to just head inside away from doors and windows as we continue to watch this. Monroe, central Monroe, you should be good. This should go to the north of you. Yes. Let's see. Through Butts County. Yeah, hail and wind are going to be the two big ones. Let's see, by the way, if we are picking up any hail in this. Yeah, it does look like we have a hail core in that. So that is going just through pretty much High Falls. Now, with that being said, let's see. So yeah, so that's 7/10 of an inch in diameter what radar is picking up on that hail core. So again, that's where the severe thunderstorm warning lies. It does look like High Falls. That's kind of the hard hit right now. But if you are in western Jasper County, you are going to want to just get ready for this cluster of storms because it is going to be heading your way in the next few minutes. Now, this severe thunderstorm warning goes until 1:45, so for the next half hour. Otherwise, if you're watching in places like Crawford County, Bibb County, Upson County, Taylor County, some very heavy rainfall there. Let's see if we put the lightning on. Doesn't look like there's any kind of lightning going on in those little pop-up cells that are starting to fire up. Let's see. Bibb County and Houston, you're safe. Yeah, so the only places we're concerned with right now are within this yellow polygon. That would be northern Monroe, so the High Falls, Berner area, and also into Jasper County, so closer to the Monticello area. Let's see if anything else kind of pops up. McElney's Crossroads, I'm so sorry if I didn't get that right. Stark, Smithborough, Jackson, along, it looks like highways at 16 through Jasper County. So don't want to be driving along that right now. McRae, you're fine. Yeah, damaging hail, 7/10 of an inch. That can do some pretty big damage to any kind of vehicles that are outside. So if you're working from home, you have a garage, you can definitely park your car under that. Probably the better idea. All right, let's see. Just got a new Dooley. You're okay right now. Did you wear sleeves this morning so you could roll them up? Didn't think about that, but we'll say yes just for the sake of it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome. All right, cool. Still kind of new to the area. Lynette, this is towards the, we'll say Monticello, Jackson area, High Falls. If you've ever been to High Falls Park, if you're new to the area, that's a pretty popular spot. That's where this is going on. If you're in the Macon area, you're simply looking at some very heavy rain. Looks like a cell just popping up south of Lizello right now, just to the south of Lake Tobosoffke. That should go off to the south of Lake Tobo, so that shouldn't be an issue, although it does look like going over parts of Lake Tobo right now. Zenith in Crawford County, getting some very heavy rainfall. Thomaston, you're getting some heavy rain starting to fire up. Lamar County still getting some very gusty wind and heavy rain associated with this fairly large cluster of storms that warranted for that severe thunderstorm warning. Let's see. Jones County, you're all right now. I am going to go through a model once I kind of look at this severe thunderstorm warning one more time. I just want to check the rotation on it, and we'll kind of cover the rest of the day for those of you who maybe didn't catch it earlier this morning. Let's see. Teacher Appreciation Week, that's right. She's not Ben. I am not Ben rolling up my sleeves. I usually don't have sleeves. Let's see. Yeah, Jones, you're safe as of right now. Same in Bon Air. Good morning. Locust Grove, you're fine right now. I did see you. All right, so that rotation looking a little bit more broad. We're going to keep an eye on it, though. Again, the tornado is possible from that, but that's really far. There's definitely still signs of rotation in that, so we're not going to leave that one alone. We're going to keep following that one. Again, like I said a few minutes ago, if you are in, and we'll put another timer on this just in case you just tuned in, 35, I'm going to get it exact. Here's a look at some of the towns, so if any of these look familiar to you, just head on indoors just for the sake of being safe. Gusty wind, and there's also the potential for some fairly large hail, 3/4 of an inch in diameter. That's all possible within this severe thunderstorm that is moving off to the east at 35 miles per hour. So Jasper County, you are next on the list to get the brunt of this cluster of storms. Lake Sinclair and Putnam. That could, if this holds together, that could be headed your way. It might go just to the northeast of you. Milledgeville, you're good. That's a 13 WMAZ signature. That's what I've been told. We did that whole promo on it. That was always fun. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that severe thunderstorm warning. In the meantime, I'm going to show you guys what we're looking at for the rest of the day here. So this is the latest from the Storm Prediction Center, and we'll go back to radar. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Greensboro, you're fine right now. I live on 129, close to Jones, Putnam County line. So this is kind of goes for everybody. We're all in this slight risk with the exception of some of our southeasternmost counties. So we're talking parts of Telfair, Wheeler, Montgomery County, bottom of, it looks like Wilcox County. But either way, most of us are in a slight risk for severe storms for the day today. This is going to go into the late evening. So even after sunset, clearly, if anyone walked out early this morning, you noticed it was very warm. It was very muggy out there. Even starting early this morning, we had fuel for thunderstorms, and we did have quite a few thunderstorms roll through. Nothing severe, but we will keep the potential for severe weather going potentially into the late evening. So we're talking maybe 10, 11 o'clock. The street level for High Falls. Oh, yes, absolutely. I will do that in 2 seconds. I'll actually go right back to that right now. So what we're going to be looking for is primarily, like you can see here, in places that don't have any kind of severe thunderstorm warning, indicated by those really bright red colors, even those deep purple colors. That's very, very heavy rainfall. Someone just asked to, let me take the lightning off so you can kind of read things. Zoom in a little bit on the High Falls roads. So very heavy rain. This is all going over, looks like Dottie Lane, Lakeshore Drive, Buck Creek Road, Hickory Road, Martha Lane, Box Ankle Road, Riverview Road, and High Falls Road, which I believe takes you all the way to the park. Let me see if I can find kind of closer to where they were picking up on. That looks definitely more broad, although looks like there's another little batch of broad rotation south of that area. Hold on 1 second. Let me switch radars. That's so far up, though. Anyway, so I'm going to zoom in here because this is kind of where it looks like at least the gustiest wind is, maybe some broad rotation. Craig Road, Freeman Road, and I don't think that's in Monroe County. That is in Monroe County. This is outside of Monroe County now. It's so hard to see when you zoom in because you lose the county lines. Anyway, so in Jasper County, I'm going to zoom in kind of closer to, so Gladesville along 63. Be getting prepared for this cluster of storms to roll through your area. Cork, that came up on our little timer there. Flovilla, all of those towns, just be sure that you are not heading out. You don't need to be heading out and about in any of this. Let's see. On Blount Road. Okay, well, yeah, if you're anywhere near High Falls, probably not the best idea to be heading out to run errands, or I guess it's not time to pick up kids from school or anything just yet. Moving at 35, so at a pretty good clip. It should be out of your way soon, although it is a pretty long cluster of storms. This is the one severe thunderstorm warning we currently have. If you are not in Monroe County, if you are not in Jasper County, you are fine as of this afternoon. And it looks like as you kind of zoom out across the state, there is another severe thunderstorm warning up towards the Athens area, but across the southeast, with the exception of Charlotte, everything is below severe limits. Also keep this, you do need an up-to-date fishing license. Oh, I hear you, I hear you. maybe not the best day to fish. We will have a lot of nice days, though, on the way once we get past this. Again, those of you just tuning in, this goes for another about 20 minutes, this severe thunderstorm warning. Keep in mind, we do have a tornado watch. In effect, you've probably seen that crawling across your screen every few minutes or so. A tornado watch in effect for the counties highlighted in red. Let's see, crossroads between Eatonton and Gray. You're fine right now. No other severe thunderstorm warnings out there. Now the potential for severe weather, all of central Georgia has at least the potential for a strong to severe storm today. Doesn't mean all of us are going to experience it, but it's there. When the Storm Prediction Center, who puts out all of these outlooks, when they put these out, they do it with kind of a 25-mile margin of error. So all of us at least have the potential for a strong to severe storm today. And the Storm Prediction Center, as of about 12:30, did upgrade most of the area to that slight risk. All you need to know about that, if you were tuning in this morning, I was saying most widespread threat going to be gusty wind, heavy rain, hail. However, if you're north of Macon, can't rule out a brief tornado or two. Those threats still remain the same. This is just saying that we don't have necessarily an isolated threat, but we're looking at something a little bit greater than just an isolated threat. Let's see. Okay, let's see. All right, so let's time things out because people are kind of asking about some towns. So know where your county is, and I'll go through this pretty slowly here. So the high-res model is not really picking up on this cluster of storms. It's kind of a little slow on this whole cluster that's moving through parts of our northern counties right now, but you'll get the gist of it as we head through the next few hours. So here's 5 o'clock for those of you kind of getting ready to or thinking ahead to the end of the workday. A lot of the activity should be still moving off to the east-northeast to our north. We are going to have a more widespread chance for storms as we head into the later evening tonight, as everything kind of continues to get pulled in out of the southwest. We're pumping in a lot of warm and moist air, and our atmosphere is going to take advantage of it. Let's see, Shady Dale here. Shady Dale, it might go just to your south, but still kind of stay prepared because you'll more than likely at least experience some sort of very gusty wind. Is Macon in the watch? It sure is. Houston County, I believe they are. Hold on, let me go back. I'll go back in a second. Let me get through this first. So over the next few hours, we'll look at more of an isolated threat, but we could potentially ramp up things a little bit as we head into the later evening. Now, we know the sun sets pretty late, after 8 o'clock, a little bit after 8. Even after 8 o'clock, though, we aren't automatically going to just shut everything off. As soon as the sun sets, we're still going to have a good bit of energy to work with. Still, though, as we head into the later evening, we're going to look more so at that gusty wind and hail threat. But the tornado threat, I think, will have at least through the early evening, mainly north of Macon. When we're still very, very warm, we have a lot of wind shear to work with, all of the above. Let's see, Milledgeville, hello, hello, hello. We'll look at close to Putnam County High School, potentially. So I know kids are probably starting to get out maybe in the next hour and a half or so of school. Hopefully that'll be past you by the time you have to worry about any kind of dismissal. Recess, I know you're probably keeping an eye on too. I know they need to get their energy out. It's not raining. Yes, exactly. The storm is definitely out to your west right now. When will it be safe to come north on 75 through High Falls? Probably within the next half hour or so, Bonnie, although it doesn't mean that there can't be a few more storms that pop up in that area, but the severe thunderstorms should be out of the way fairly soon if it's not already. Houston, you're not included in the tornado watch, and there's just another beep. So let's see what that's all about. Hang tight, everybody. And that would be a tornado warning. They decided to pull the trigger on that. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to hop off Facebook Live, and we are going to go to air on TV, so you can catch us there. And Ben is also actually coming in within the next few minutes, so we'll both be here. And stay weather aware today, everyone. I'm going to log off so that I can get on TV with that tornado warning. And we will catch you back here on Facebook Live as more warnings come out.
what the new procedure for logging in over there is. It seemed like it changed.
I'd hop back online for this. We're not doing.
Oh, you're on Max 2?
Yeah. So, who's calling?
Micing up as quickly as I can. That's correct. It's up to you. It's fringe viewing area, Monticello. I don't know if that's included or not. It's close enough, and it's heading into Putnam. But Eatonton, Putnam, does that count? Always used to. That's a call for you and Jeff Dudley to make. Jasper and Putnam counties. Do we go in there or not? I don't know. It's skirting north across there. Okay, if you can handle getting that ready, that'd be great, because we're having to swap mics and IFBs, and I'm trying to get the laptop running. Okay, okay. Are you talking about the one live, a live one, or one way? What is it called? Okay, not sure if we're still on live. You might be able to hear me. We're getting ready to go on the air.
Yeah, once your mic's on, you're good.
Okay, I'm not hearing anything. anything from anybody. I don't know if I will, though. Let's see. Okay, trying to get us over here where I can see any comments that are coming in. Okay, I think you're hearing me there. Okay, we're getting ready to go on air on TV as well, so just stand by, folks, just for a second. If you're just joining us, tornado warning for Jasper County and heading toward Putnam County, which is inside the tornado watch box that we have here. Yeah, all right, so there you go. Pretty big storm here with a lot of lightning, and we're going to get into, let's go to velocity mode. And you can see kind of, well, that's fairly tight right through there. It looks like it was broad at one point. Back it up, and you can see when the warning was issued south of Jackson. This is Butts County here. As it's coming toward the east, it's just been crossing over into the Jasper County line. And depends on how far I move it, right in between our radar and Peachtree City. Barely move it, you pick up Peachtree City. Move down, you're picking up from Jeffersonville right there. Let's go over to the chat. Yeah, the rotation is down from a couple of scans ago, so that's good news. The storm is cycling is what's happening, and sometimes you'll see it go down, weaken down a little bit, and then start to tighten back up. So we're watching for that. All right, good afternoon, everybody. We are in severe weather mode this afternoon, one of a few days of potential strong storms. Let's go ahead and get you in on the map here and show you what's up. A tornado warning is in effect for Jasper County. This is leaving Butts County, right kind of on the state line right now, or the county line, I should say. It's moving toward the east. And the wording was a severe thunderstorm warning at first with tornado possible seems to be how it's being worded right now. And we've seen rotation tighten up at times, and then it's kind of cycling right now where it's a little bit broad. It's not as tight as it was, but that could change. It's one of those afternoons where we could see some of these stay on the ground for a little while. This is moving, let's see if we can get the movement there, east at 35, all right? So let me go back over to the map here, and let's do a track. This is going to go, let's go east at 35 and show you some of the places in the path of the storm. All right, so this is heading toward southwestern Putnam County a little bit. This is running underneath Monticello and may clip a little bit of northern Jones County. It's going to be pretty close there, so may even be going a little bit more toward the northeast. Let's erase that, do another one. Let's go east-northeast at around 35. And some of the smaller community names, something may stand out if you live in that area that you may recognize some of that. So again, it's for southern Jasper right now, and this goes until 1:45, is that right? Seems like a pretty short time there. So we'll see what happens after we get to 1:45 in just a few minutes. All right, we'll zoom out. Let's clear the map off. A lot of rain coming down with this as well. It's not just the tornadic threat, but there's also, if I go back over to reflectivity mode, you can see plenty of rain, some gusty winds, even if you're not seeing anything rotating, and a ton of lightning. I'd stay away from the windows until this thing moves through. We're seeing just a lightning show here with this one, and you can see where it is in relation to Monticello here. So the storm is going to run right underneath town, it looks like. So between Monticello and Round Oak in Jones County, kind of threading in between there, heading toward the Stanfordville community. and may stay south of Eatonton. We'll see, but let's look ahead. If you're Lake Sinclair, you want to go ahead and be heads up as this is coming across. The general movement of this storm should kind of take it like this. All right, so this would be kind of the path as we go through however long this is going to be going. I mean, it could weaken down, it could cycle down a little bit, and we'll have to see how that goes. But I definitely think the rest of Jasper County, Putnam, eventually crossing over Lake Sinclair, heading toward, it may stay south of Oconee, but heading towards Sparta. Let me go back in for velocity mode and check that little cell that's underneath there too. Let's see, that's the one that I was looking at north of Forsyth. I don't see anything going on with that. But you can see, let's go back over to the Jeffersonville radar there. No, that's Peachtree City radar. It's right in between the radar sites of Peachtree City and our one in Jeffersonville. If I barely move, I go in between both of these and you can pick up from either angle. Looks like the better shots from Peachtree City right now. Again, not a super tight couplet right there, but you get the idea of where things would be rotating right here in the middle. I guess McElhaney's crossing, Gladesville in between there, crossing over 83 in just minutes here. We'll do some street spotting here. So there's it, Highway 83. Don't have anything coming up on the map out there. Again, the future of this, if it holds together like it is to go on over into Putnam County, moving east at 35, a little bit east-northeast. So, you know, kind of use somewhere like Eatonton as a marker. Monticello and Eatonton, we're kind of running underneath both of these. At the very least, even if you don't have winds that are rotating, we could still have some straight line winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, and also hail, pretty good possibility. Let's check the hail cores. It's not huge, but let's see them back it up and see if it was a little more impressive earlier. Yeah, it was getting on up there. So half inch maybe and smaller, but some of these storms today could put down hail even bigger than that. So you're going to have some hail, gusty winds, even if we're not seeing anything tornadic. All right. According to this, it should be expiring in just a second. Let's see. Are they both 145? Yeah. It's kind of broad right now. We'll see what Peachtree City does with this. There goes the severe thunderstorm warning. That just fell off. Tornado warning polygon is remaining for right now. Oh, that goes until 2. All right, so the tornado warning's till 2. The severe thunderstorm warning was until... All right, I had some numbers wrong on that. Yep, this is going to go till 2 o'clock. Tornado warning being continued for Jasper County. Wording from National Weather Service, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over McElhaney's Crossroads or 7 miles southwest of Monticello, moving east at 30. Some of the new verbiage on that. Once again, we kind of go out. It's going to be just small communities that you may recognize some of that over the next 30 miles per hour span here. This will take us over the next 30 minutes. So let's see, Lake Sinclair again in play on this. Let's go back to the base. And again, look at the lightning. No shortage of that. A lot of heavy rain, much needed rain. Unfortunately, this time of year, it sometimes comes at a cost. You have to have the severe weather threat with it. Once again, the future of this, if it stays on this track, is to kind of go right between Sinclair and Oconee. So right on the border of the lakes there. So if you know in that area, northern Lake Sinclair is probably in that area. And even once you get on down in Lake Sinclair area, I think still all of this down here has got to come through too, even though that's not technically in a polygon for severe weather. Some of this could be a little bit strong. And this is one of these days where these cells can kind of morph. One of them may lose its punch a little bit, and maybe another section of it balloon out. So we'll continue to watch this in northern Monroe County. No doubt a lot of heavy rain and lightning with this, and this is poised to go into northern Jones County. All right, let's zoom back out. Everything else that we're seeing out there is not severe. So if you're in the Macon area, let's put a loop on there. Anywhere in Monroe County, Upson, Crawford, again, none of that is severe. This is the one cell that we have going on, and you can feel it out there. It's really started to get that sort of nasty feeling, the muggy feeling, and of course the winds are really stirring around out there. So any storms that do get up and running with plenty of energy out there today, they could at least have some really gusty winds and possibly some large hail, but also some of these could rotate. All right, let's stop that, and I want to see, it looks like they've kind of take the lightning off. Looks like they've trimmed, it's all Jasper County now when they did the continuation, so Butts County's out of it. You can see where they drew the line right here, so it's just this part of the polygon. Still pretty broad. Now look at northern Monroe County. This is what I was telling you. This one right here is going to have to be watched. If you were outside of the Forsyth area between Forsyth and Juliet, go ahead and treat that like a tornado because there is a couplet there. It's not super tight yet, but this is what I was just talking about. It's almost like we have a pair of rotating cells here. This is the one with the warning, but keep an eye on this. All right, let's see. Weather Service talking about that Jasper County storm. Not seeing a tight couplet on the Jasper storm, but we'll keep the warning for the storm as the rear flank downdraft keeps trying to surge. Meanwhile, the storm in Monroe County is on the upswing. Okay, so that's what I was just talking about. Sometimes you'll see it in these storms where one, especially to the south, will kind of rob the one to the north. So this one could become the one we pay more attention to in just a second. All right, so this is more and more in our wheelhouse. This is Monroe County heading into Jones. So again, let's go ahead and treat that as though it is, and not wait for the National Weather Service to issue a tornado warning on that, because there is a couplet there. There's base velocity, you can see it. Again, it's broad, but right in there. So let's do some zooming in, where at least we're having some strong wind. Blue Store Road, this is heading toward Juliet Road, Holly Grove Road, Ebenezer Road as it makes its way toward the east. Now this new scan will come in and it may even be farther toward the east. Georgia Power all through that area, Lake Juliet. Hunker down. If you're over at the plant watching, let's just get to the centermost room just in case, because this one's trying to tighten up a little bit here. Then it may on the next scan wash out a little bit. That's okay too, but let's just be prepared just in case. We may not even get a warning on it, but that one's to watch. This one in Jasper County is really stretched out now, so that one is not concerning me as much as the one now to the south. Don't see anything else rotating. Of course, there's not really much out there in the way of storms other than this stuff mainly north of Macon, which is where the bigger severe threat is. Let's see. Yeah, it's still kind of broad at this point. I'm just kind of keeping it on this. Let me go back to base and let this loop for you for a second. Let's zoom out. And you can see the movement. Let's slow it down just a little bit there. You can see there is rain in southern Monroe, getting into North Bibb. More stuff developing back south and west. None of that's severe yet, but it's stuff that we're going to watch as we go through this afternoon. Mm-hmm. Here we go. Okay, we were just talking about, our newsroom's been in touch with Jasper County. No reports of damage there for right now. Of course, it's still going through Jasper County, and the storm is stretching out a little bit, meaning it's not quite as tight of a rotation as what we were seeing at first. All right, let me go back to velocity mode and check on this one. Yeah, That's not looking very good there in Monroe County. Let's, any minute now, I have a feeling we're going to hear the ding go off on this as we're close to getting a tornado warning, I would imagine, here in Monroe County. You know, some of those pixels are not, I think we're looking mainly more right here. I think these are just blips here. So, but it's still getting fairly tight through there. The next scan will probably tell us a lot. But again, if that holds together, that's going to thread the needle between Round Oak and Gray over the next 20 minutes or so. This is going to run underneath Juliet proper, but as far as, all right, Jasper County tornado warning, they're letting that go. They just expired that. So that polygon's still there, but there is technically no warning. There are technically no warnings in our area right now, but we're going to hold on for this for a second. Yeah, I would think at least a severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible in the wording. We'll see if that shows up here in a second. But this is talking about right through Georgia Power Plant there. And let's see, where are we? Let's go back to base mode. Yeah, so you're talking about right through Lake Juliet. If you're anywhere in Lake Juliet, or if you know somebody that's out there that's about to put the boat in the water and go fishing this afternoon, not a good idea right now. There's a new scan just came in. Heaviest rain is just on the north side there. Let me see what the new velocity scan. Did we get one of those? I don't see anything yet. Again, Jasper County, tornado warning expired. That storm has stretched out. And the new scan just came in and it doesn't look awful. But again, if you're in Monroe County, treat this as at least a severe thunderstorm type situation, even though we don't have a warning. These kind of little cells can just kind of, they'll cycle back and forth. You'll see them weaken down a little bit and they'll pop back up, tighten up, and, you know, kind of skip and dance a little bit as it makes its way east. And again, this is moving east at around 30, 35 miles per hour. So let's, again, as if this were a warning, just so you're ready, just in case, no panic, but just in case. Let's go a little bit over 30. So you're talking getting toward Round Oak in the next 20 minutes. Bradley, so staying north of Gray looks to be how this is going to run. Clear that off. All right, let's go back to the base radar here, and
they're not even giving that a significant weather advisory. Like,
I know, there's nothing.
We're not getting anything out of that.
I'm kind of surprised. Well, and you can notice how everything's kind of gathering, all congregating right here. Court, you've seen this too, where sometimes the southern extent of these little groupings, this is where the inflow and all the power is going right here, and it just robbed that one in Jasper. So that's the reason that one's kind of falling apart. But this is becoming the main thing right here. Any other rain that you have, you go south from here, if you're in the Macon area, not severe with any of that. But we're in an afternoon where that could change fairly quickly. You see going back toward the south and west, thunderstorms on back south of Columbus. Those may stay tame as we go through tonight. You can see tornado warnings still going as you go north and east of Athens. Those storms have been really roaming across here through the Atlanta area. I don't know. Courtney, you were watching it. I don't know if they got any damage. Look, it rolled almost through downtown.
It went, like, probably a mile from Peachtree City's office.
Wow.
The storms are still producing hail. Nothing severe limits, but about 4/10 of an inch diameter hail. So it looks like that cell, even though it's not severe warned at all, is still at least picking up
Yeah, I
hail.
see that. Yeah.
It's a nasty looking storm. I don't know.
Yeah, even though we don't have a warning on that, let's again treat it as though it is something. Here we go. Severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible.
As if they read your mind.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? Baldwin, Jasper, Jones, Monroe, Putnam until 2:30. And it's with that storm that is rolling right across Lake Juliet right now. That is, again, as I said, let's treat it as though it is a tornado warning, even though it's called a severe thunderstorm warning. You have the wording tornado possible. The tornado warning that you see up here, that's old. It will drop off in about 3 minutes. It's expired, but it's still going to probably wait for its time to actually fall off. This is the cell we're most concerned about right here. So let's dig on in. And you can see clearly a little notch right in here. Go to velocity mode, still somewhat broad, that's good. You don't want to tight couple it there. This is now leaving Monroe County, it looks like pretty soon here, crossing over into Jones County. Old River Road, Beelan Road, Middlebrooks Drive, Gerald Plantation, all through that area. If you're around Gerald Plantation, this is going to roll pretty much through there, if not a little bit north. All right, so just think of where you are. If you're in western Jones County, wherever your proximity to Gerald Plantation, all right? So let's hunker down. Again, it's not saying that this is a tornado, but there's clearly some rotation going on now. Whether that's going on at the surface, we don't know. I'm just switching back and forth. There's base velocity, storm relative velocity right there. So you're going to get a couple of different looks. But you get the idea. And once again, the one to the north is stretched out into, it's still strong wind. If you're in Jasper County, you still have some really gusty winds, and that's still heading toward Lake Sinclair. But at this point, and I don't see it changing because this one is now kind of taken over, this should stay more gusty, straight line winds. This is the one that wants to rotate here. All right, look on the map. Again, crossing over. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point to pass along. We're going to be on TV for a little while here, but in the event that we do get to where we are warning less, at this point it looks to be at least 2:30, then we will still be on all of our other platforms live. And by that I mean Facebook Live, our website, streaming there, and on YouTube is a thing that we added on not too long ago. So there are a lot of places you can still watch, in the event that we go off of television. But right now we are on everything because of a severe thunderstorm warning with the wording tornado possible. And again, that is for leaving Monroe County, kind of notched in right here, and heading into Jones County. So anywhere between kind of Round Oak and Wayside. Let's see, the heaviest rain is on the northern extent of this. Dames Ferry, it looks like most of the actual rotation part looks to be to your north. Again, it hasn't tightened up a lot. I mean, it's still there, but I like the look of it better than I would one that's just knotted up, and then you don't want to see that. It's been staying fairly broad there, but it looks like it's more kind of pretty much heading right toward Round Oak. So if that's where you are, again, no panic. We'll get it through here in no time, and it looks like at least some gusty winds, possibly rotating a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't take off fully. Again, this is not a full tornado warning, but it's in the verbiage that tornado is possible in this severe thunderstorm warning. Also mentions hail up to 1.25 inches in diameter. I have not seen that. Looking at more on the scale, quarter, maybe 1/2 inch. And again, sometimes this hail signature is a little bit behind where the storm is. The storm's a little bit more over here. By the time we get the data in, it's sometimes a few scans back, but you can kind of get an idea of where the most powerful part of the storm was at least a few minutes ago. And that's what's cruising across like this. And we can even go to, it helps me too to go back. I can see, kind of get an idea of where it was with hail tracks. And you can see that storm from Butts County going to Jasper, and you can follow these. I'll back it up, and you can see that storm weakened down, and the one around Juliet is going backwards and now going forward. That's just following with the hail core. So the one south of Griffin and Jackson running toward Jasper County had a pretty big hail core, and then it started to kind of collapse as this one has been taken over, but it still hasn't hit hail signatures like this. All right, we're back on radar mode here. Do we still have a lot of lightning with this? Let's see. Yeah, pretty good bit as the data's coming in. You can see a lot of lightning strikes, so just stay away from the windows, let it roll through. At any given point, wherever you are, give it 20, 30 minutes, and it'll pass on through. And again, mainly straight line winds with this, but there could be some sort of a spin. The good news out of all this, again, this is some much needed rainfall coming down.
Something interesting in Atlanta. So I have this graphic that shows kind of like thunderstorm energy. Atlanta has already completely refueled. So
really? Oh, it's one of those days
yeah,
where it's just recharged.
It's one of those days.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. We're going to get this batch of rain and storms to come through, and yeah, that can settle us down a little bit. You can almost see this little patch. This is the opposite side for me. But either way, you can see this little patch right here where all those rain and storms came through, where that instability is pretty much none. But notice up towards the Atlanta area, we had a tornado warning run through here probably around, I'd say, 10:30, 11, and it's already refueled. Where you see these pink and purple colors, that's indicating a lot of thunderstorm energy, and the more yellow and orange colors, that's a lesser instability. But we clearly have a lot. This storm's about to run into plenty more energy to take advantage of over in parts of Putnam County, so we'll continue to watch this. This goes until what time, Ben? 2:15?
2:30.
2:30. So this doesn't show the warning on it, but either way, this severe thunderstorm warning is a lot of energy to take advantage of as we go through the next half hour or so. And with all that energy, that's what we're looking at today. We're looking at the gusty wind, the hail threat. The hail threat's going to be also there. We could see hail upwards of 1 inch in diameter. Earlier, I saw 7/10 of an inch when it came to our hail diameter. So that's a threat that we're going to be watching for.
All right. Thanks, Court. I'm looking in the chat room here, and you know, it's not just weather people and emergency management people and all that in this chat room. A lot of people, you even have folks from school systems in here. I'm seeing a question from the Jones County School District. How do things look for Jones County? We're going to have dismissal happening soon, trying to decide if we need to delay until 3. So I know that probably is a question to try to figure out when you get into this time of day with kids in school. I'm not exactly sure what part of Jones County they're asking for. I would sit still and hold for this in case you're watching our coverage right here, just in case if you're in the gray area, no pun intended, but you're kind of in a gray area where there's no severe weather there, and it looks like it's probably going to stay to your north. So if I were in actual gray, you know, this is where this is going. Everything underneath that is just rain. Looking at some damage reports from Atlanta a little bit earlier, and it rolled right through downtown. Fulton County, partial collapse of apartment building at Riverside Drive and Fulton Industrial Boulevard. So yeah, that's done some damage up there. Walton County, injuries reported there. So some of the storms to our north have been some tough customers, and the one that we have here now is technically a severe thunderstorm warning, but with, again, the wording, tornado possible. And the reason for that is that green and red next to each other. This couplet, which is not well defined, and that's a good thing. You don't want this, you don't want to see a bunch of bright green here and a bunch of bright red all next to each other. You want it broadened out. So that says that the cell itself is rotating, but think about it as a ballerina. You know, if she's spinning around with her arms out, she's not going very fast, but if she tucks those arms in, then the smaller you get like that, the faster you start to spin. So those couplets, when they start to really get down into the pixels there, that's not good. We want it to stay broad all through this area. Once again, here's gray down here. So this is going to go over gray. We have, because the Jasper County one expired. Actual 2 p.m. expiration had dropped off about 150 something, so that one just washed out. This still goes until 2:30, so another 23 and a half minutes, and then we'll see what happens. Does it carry over more into Baldwin and Southern Hancock? We'll have to see. And like Courtney said, it's one of those days where if you're used to, or if you're waiting for an all clear, it's not one of those days. And I know that sounds bad. I'm not trying to scare you or anything like that, where it's just over and over and over again. I mean, still the chances of you seeing anything tornadic in one given spot, very tiny. But it's one of those days where storms will come through. It'll kind of wash the atmosphere over locally just for a little bit. But there's enough energy out there today that it just recovers, it recharges. And you saw that on Courtney's map. You'll see a little hole where the air is kind of stabilized there for a second, and then it quickly fills back in again, and the energy is right back up, ready to go again. So there won't be a line today where I draw a line, not anytime soon, that says all clear. You can zoom out and you can see I'm just kind of peppering the landscape out there. Let me go to the bigger map. You can see them all back in Alabama. Again, springtime weather fueled by a ton of energy, but also the candle is lit by the heat of the day. And we have a lot of that going on out there today. So all these spots out here just firing up thunderstorms. Doesn't mean they're all going to be severe, but inside this watch area is probably going to be one of your greatest potential areas where you're getting the shear matching up with all that energy to get some rotation in there, and then again over in the Carolinas. But at least severe thunderstorms possible back in Alabama. And again, this matches up with our severe threat for today, which is right there. You see we're in a level 2, so if you're wondering, wow, with all that going on, what level are we in? Still not a high risk for severe weather, but one that definitely has to be watched very closely today. There's tomorrow. Oh, by the way, we're at it again tomorrow afternoon with more thunderstorms. Severe threat is there again. It's going to be one of these
stretches,
2 or 3 day runs here, because then even as you go into Wednesday, a low end level 1 at this point, but that says everything's trying to clear out. So that's probably when you'll hear an all clear. And not saying that we're going to have storms all day, all night for the next 3 days, but at least today until after sunset, late evening, eastern county still going 9 to 11 o'clock tonight, and then calming down, it looks like maybe overnight, before ramping up with the heat of the day tomorrow. So let's take a look at the high res run here. And you can see what I'm talking about. Here's around 5, 6 o'clock this afternoon. There's 7, 8 o'clock tonight. Again, not the exact placement of where cells are going to be, but you get the idea. And then looking more kind of Dublin, Eastman, and points south as you get into around 9, 10 o'clock tonight. Looks like a break for the overnight. And then once we start to get into the heat of the day tomorrow, here they come again. So we're talking about thunderstorms through the afternoon into the evening tomorrow. Then we head toward the late night, and it looks like it wants to clear. Let's go to this other model. We'll start from here. All right, so there's late tonight. Now we get into tomorrow afternoon. The graph model is showing a little more linear situation here as you get into tomorrow afternoon, then trying to clear through. Oh, okay, this is what Courtney was talking about earlier.
It's been doing that consistently throughout the day today.
It may hold together. Ooh, I don't know. I like that.
That looks a lot better.
Yeah, Courtney was looking at some of these model runs, and they were showing tomorrow night, overnight, still with a punch, like another round. But I like that trend there if it'll quiet down, and we're still going to have, well, that actually looks better for Wednesday, too. We may have a few thunderstorms Wednesday there if you follow the timeline at the top. So at least 2 days of this, mainly afternoon and evening stuff. Let's go back to the current situation here. Severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible. That's in the wording from the National Weather Service. So it's not an actual tornado warning, but sitting on ready to go if need be to issue one. That's what that means. Let's take the lightning off. That's the actual. It looks like it's looking a little better. Let's go to reflectivity on that. Still some sort of rotation within the cell itself. So the cell is spinning broadly, but it is not looking like it's dropping anything down. Okay, Walton County turns out EMA, which is not in our area. I'm just trying to give you an idea of how the day's going north of us. No injuries with that. That's good.
That hail core's starting to get a little bigger, and it's a little over half an inch. 6/10.
Yeah, and you can see how what I was telling you just a moment ago, that it lags behind just a little bit. Center of the storm, almost underneath the R in Round Oak. If you go to the hail signature, it's usually a few scans back by the time that data gets in. The actual center of the storm is more here now. In big picture this afternoon, let's take the clouds off so you can see. Which actually, no, let me leave the clouds on for a second, because that's part of the problem again this afternoon. Again, one of these days where you don't want to see the sun come out. Not that it's going to matter a whole lot. The energy's there regardless, but Okay. All right. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to drop out of television coverage and go live on all of our other platforms. And by that I mean if you go to our website, our app, we're streaming there. Facebook Live, streaming there. All the same thing going to all these different places. And of course our YouTube channel, where that is growing as people more and more go to that platform to see it. So there's so many ways you can watch. Again, that severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible still going on for Jones County right now, heading into Baldwin, but no actual tornado warning. So we'll continue coverage over there. If this turns into a different situation, we're coming back to TV. So we'll see you over there. Okay. All right. Thank you, Sherrod. Okay. Apparently we are continuing live now on the aforementioned platforms that I was just talking about. So again, not a tornado warning, but a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible. Again, it is staying north of Gray. Gray is here. So the actual core of this storm, the bad part, looks like it's going to go up and over Gray. But Round Oak, anywhere spreading into northeast Jones County, the potential for at least very gusty winds is there. Now, whether or not they're actually rotating doesn't look to be anything serious. I mean, I'm sure if you were astute and up on a hill enough and you could follow the cloud patterns, you could probably tell that the whole storm is kind of rotating as a cell, but not as far as dropping an actual tornado onto the ground at this point. But we're watching it like a hawk. Let's go back for anybody else watching for other storms. This is pretty much the only game in town here. So as I put the loop on, let's see. All that energy is up there. Now go south and west of Columbus, and you can keep an eye on that. Oh, thank you, Court. Let's see. Glenn Goins, Deputy Fire Chief in Butts County, says they've had one tree down in Flovilla that knocked down some power lines. They got some heavy dime-sized hail around 1:30, but it's clear again. No word on further damage yet. People are just getting outside to survey damage. That's Butts County, definitely on the southern end of town, underneath Jackson. That's where the storm was really kicking it through there, and we saw a pretty impressive hail core, and also that was when the couplet was tightest as far as rotation. That was the storm, the first one we were dealing with. That was the one that was running from Butts to Jasper to Putnam. Now again, if you're in Eatonton or south of there too, south and west, a lot of heavy rain, tons of lightning. No shortage of lightning with any of this. But the stronger storm is underneath here. It is kind of robbed. If you think about it, you got all energy coming up, inflow right on that notch where the possible tornado could be. And that other one just kind of takes over underneath there. So then the one that's up top is kind of zapped. It eats all the food away from that one. So then this one weakens down some. It's not weak, but it has come down from what it was. All right, let's go back velocity mode. Still broad rotation. Again, nothing. It's more like this, which is much better than, I can't even draw a circle that small with this. You get the idea. So we want to see the broad rotation there, not anything bright green and bright red right next to each other. Wayside, all right, between Round Oak and Wayside, Highway 11. Again, this is staying north of Gray. But if you were in Gray, about to jump on 11 and head north, don't do that right now. Let's wait until this passes over. Should head north of Haddock. Again, still good that we're not seeing anything tightening up. But again, these are the kind of cells and the kind of days where you can see that change in a minute. All right, I'm just looking at the chat room. Most of the conversation is about those storms that rolled through North Georgia, Atlanta area just a little while ago. And they're getting a lot of damage reports coming in. Walton, Barrow County, Fulton. Again, the Fulton County, partial collapse of an apartment building. I know where that is, Riverside Drive, Fulton Industrial. I don't know the exact building, but I know about where that is. I was watching that on the radar earlier thinking, man, that sucker's going straight through downtown Atlanta. And it was a tornado warning. All right, let's see. We zoom back out, do a check on everybody else. I haven't been looking at the comments on Facebook or anything to answer all those, so I'll just, hopefully this will be a broad brush that'll answer a lot of questions. Yes, there is more stuff out there to the south and west, and these are just regular old cells for right now. We'll see if they start to knot up and do something else, but for right now, again, it's much needed rain coming in if you can grab one of these, but if it starts to spin, you kind of want to let go of it. See you, Court. Thank you. Courtney hitting the road. We're going to have some handoffs back and forth over the next couple of days. Somebody constantly manning the weather department, as once again, storms will go through this evening. Should taper off late tonight. And then with the heat of the day in the afternoon tomorrow, they'll fire up all over again, anywhere from noon to 2, somewhere in there, and go on into the late night hours. And possibly another round overnight tomorrow night. But again, as I showed you a little earlier, unless I'll show it to you now, how about that? That could come down some. Hopefully not be as strong. Here's a look at this afternoon, 5, 6, 7 o'clock. We may be done with most of it in the next few, I don't want to go on, step on that limb, it'll break. Let's go high res at first. Let's do this. This shows 7, 8, 9 o'clock, and then notice how more Dublin, Eastman late tonight, driving south and then fading. Then we get into tomorrow around lunchtime or so, starting to see stuff firing with the heat of the day out west again. There's around 3 in the afternoon tomorrow. So at least some strong gusty winds there, barreling toward the southeast. This is around 5, 6 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And then trying to push on south, heading toward midnight. Now that is as far as that model goes out. Let's catch up to that same spot. Let me go forward. There's tomorrow afternoon. Look back into Alabama, and that's the stuff we were looking at for overnight tomorrow night, but encouraging news on the new model runs. It looks like that hopefully will calm down. Maybe we will have worked the atmosphere over by then. Then we get into Wednesday. As the front comes to push this out, we may see a shower storm. Doesn't look to be as big of a severe threat on Wednesday, but we're going to block away 3 days for severe potential, starting with today's outlook where we're in a level 2. Tomorrow we are also in a 2. Stronger stuff, Alabama, northwest Georgia, but we're definitely in the to-be-watched area. And then going to day 3, as the storms are leaving, heading towards Savannah, that'll be more of a level 1, and hopefully no higher than that, and that would wrap it up. So, again, good news that we're talking about rain that we could really, really use, but you get rain that you could use in March, April, May. It usually sometimes comes at a price. So, hopefully this is all we're going to see with this. But this warning still goes for another 9 minutes. Let's get on in on velocity. Same thing. Still just seeing broad rotation there. Nothing tightening up. But you can follow, watch the green and red, and watch how that, you can almost, especially with the green, you can almost see it turn as I go back and I go forward slowly. The whole cell is rotating, but it's just not dropping anything down as far as the tornado yet, and hopefully that stays the case. Hail core is still there. It's fluctuated back and forth. I think maybe some dime size with some of that. Looks like it's probably crossed over 11 now. Again, gray is outside of the polygon. It's right in here, so the storm is going up and over. And as Courtney talked about earlier, one of those afternoons where you're not going to get like a big clearing and that's it, and game over, no more severe weather. The atmosphere is very unstable today. You can kind of just feel it out there. And then, of course, those gusty winds we've had. So you've got a lot of wind shear, especially north of Macon. So when the storms get up and running, they get up in the vertical, they're going to encounter some winds that are opposing the surface winds. And so that's going to be putting some spin on it from the top. So far, so good, though, on this storm, that not an actual tornado warning, but a severe thunderstorm warning. Lake Sinclair with some, it's like light rain at this point. I was mentioning that earlier because of the incoming storm. And again, you can tell just by lightning that this one has weakened down a lot and all the energy is here. So when I say north of Gray, if you're in Gray, I'm sure you can see the dark sky if you look north and you're hearing the thunder, but it is running right over you. It's heading toward Milledgeville. We'll see what shape it's in by the time it gets there. Is it still going to be strong, or will it have weakened down some? We'll see. Storms back in Columbus again. Still watching these. We're just getting going this afternoon, so hopefully it just stays like this, just garden variety thunderstorms that have a little bit of punch to them and a little bit of giddy up too. They're kind of moving fairly quickly, these especially south of Columbus. But, I mean, I know it's not in our area yet, but for Upson and Taylor counties, it doesn't hurt to go ahead and start investigating some of these. Around Fort Benning, so far so good. You can see the tornado watch extends from Macon north and westward. So technically the watch is only about a third of our viewing area. It's not for everybody, but I always like to say if you're close enough in there, just treat the afternoon as such, because sometimes you can have warnings that pop out of the actual watch boxes. The watch boxes are just kind of guidance that says this is probably where it's most likely. Doesn't mean it can't happen outside of these red lines. There's another one that goes from Augusta into South Carolina. You can see it on the big picture there. So you got a severe thunderstorm watch in Alabama, 2 tornado watches, one for us and one for the Carolinas. And follow all those little, I just call it little pieces of rain. Watch how quickly these things are moving. All right, let's go back, check, see if we have any scan. Still broad. There's a new one coming in. Again, kind of right in that area if we were to see anything. I mean, I'm not saying there's a tornado on the ground. I'm just trying to give you an idea of Hungerford Road, Hilltop Inn Road, Ford's Drive, just an idea of where we're seeing at least some rotation in the storm. There is no tornado warning there, but just an idea about where our focus is. Again, should stay north of Haddock, kind of running parallel to 22. This will go on over into Baldwin County in a little while. All right, looking over at some comments on Facebook now. I'm seeing a couple of people say they lost TV signal at Lake Sinclair. Okay, well, if, that's a good thing if you have charged up, I lost the word there, cell phone, laptop, iPad, tablets, all that stuff, then you're good to go because you can still watch us. Again, we're on Facebook if that's where you are. We're also on our YouTube channel, as well as streaming on our website, on our app. There are many, many ways to still watch us, even if you lose the TV signal. Of course, we're not on television right now anyway with severe coverage. We're all on other platforms. Again, you can see clearly the broad rotation. So, I mean, this is, and again, even if it's not rotating, the possibility of 60-mile-per-hour winds still exists there. So it doesn't have to be spinning to still take some tree limbs down. And just instead of twisting them, it would lay them straight over. And I see that we have just linked on. You can click in the comments there and you can see a link to our YouTube channel. That'll take you there if you want to check that out. You're going to be seeing the same thing you're seeing here, but maybe you like it better over there. It doesn't matter, wherever you want to go. Just glad to have you along. So far, so good this afternoon. Again, just a couple of warnings. We had the one tornado warning in Jasper County. That one fell apart. The severe thunderstorm warning in Jones heading toward Baldwin has the wording tornado possible, but we haven't seen that materialize. Storms back toward the south and west around Columbus. Those are ramping up, but so far they are staying tame. They are behaving at this point. And again, an afternoon where the atmosphere is juiced and is going to, you'll have a thunderstorm roll in, and instead of it just shutting it down after that, it's going to be where it may stabilize the air for a little bit, but then it'll immediately recharge again, ready for another storm. And again, we're already powder keggish anyway, but we don't want to see breaks in the clouds and see a whole lot of sun really heating up in some of these gaps back here. Regardless, we're going to see thunderstorms because there's just enough of that energy going on today. Big picture. All right, we're coming up on 2:30 here in just a second, and we're going to see what Peachtree City does with this. So let's stand by for that. If that does drop off, then that'll conclude coverage for right now. I may jump back on in a little bit, but need to go get some things, check over some things, and we may come back. But if we have no warnings, that means, it's just garden variety thunderstorms, nothing to worry about. There it goes. Okay, so it dropped off. And so we have no warnings, okay? Again, checking in on velocity. At least gusty winds around 50 mile an hour plus, something like that, 45 to 50 mile per hour winds. And nothing rotating as far as a tornado at this point. So, but having said that, let me get back to this map. If you're in Milledgeville, especially from Milledgeville to Lake Sinclair. This area right here, it's some strong gusty winds, a lot of lightning, and some much needed rain, very heavy rain, and maybe some hail with that. And hopefully not anything worse than that. But as it stands now, again, I've been checking, I don't see anything rotating, but that can change on a dime. So let's just be prepared as we go through the next hour or so in this area, see if anything pops. Okay, so, yep, that's what we're going to do. All right, so we will conclude coverage here. Again, be on standby this afternoon. I'd go ahead, if you haven't already, go ahead and charge up anything you've got, just in case you were to lose power or anything. You're still rocking. You can still kind of stay with the party. So we may come back on in a little bit, but for right now, that'll do it. We'll talk to you later.